Hey friends, it's Wandering Dancer at Stoneglade Farm. I thought I'd give you an update on the square spiral garden. Today is the 26th of July 2021. It's a riot in here. I had surgery this past week, so I've not been able to work in the garden. It's starting to immediately get overgrown, not surprising. Look at this guy. He died down to almost nothing. He got choked, I think, by all these Asiatic daylilies. So I cleared him a good space this year, and oh gosh, look at that. The wild, whatchamacallit, is climbing it. It's climbing everywhere. So we should have blooms soon. Taro's doing really well. Apple's surviving. Something's eating it. I don't know what. Got mint doing really well. The Artemisia has done a second bloom. It's so pretty. Mint is also dipping its way into the wee pond. That tickles me. And then we have the absolutely glorious black-eyed Susans. Look at these guys. Butterfly haven. Butterflies everywhere. More taro. The other apple also getting eaten up, but surviving. Here's my wormwood. I cut some wormwood, dried it, and put it into bundles. There's some wormwood out there, that blue-green. And then we've got the cosmos just starting to bloom. One of my favorites. The grapes. We do have some grapes that survived. It's getting close to harvest time. We've tried to eat some of them and they're still quite sour. They're Niagara, and I don't know that I'm going to be fond of them. They seem to be sort of a green version of the Concord. That's my elderberry. I picked some elderberries today from the lower branches. And my okra has not done a lot. It's still very small. I understood that it grew really tall and provided you tons of food, and it's not doing that. So I don't know if it needs like super rich soil. Our soil is okay, not super rich. Here's one of my pokeberries, but the runner beans are also pretty spindly. They are slowly growing up the old trellis there. Something else that surprised me is the, oh gosh, what's it called? Not endive. Fennel. I planted fennel here and it's almost doing nothing at all. I didn't think it would be so afraid of the heat. We got a bunch of peppers from a friend of mine who had decided to cut back on what she was going to grow. So I've planted loads of peppers. Here's the wild black-eyed Susan. There's the canna banana corner over there, doing nicely. And here's some pokeberries starting to, oops, super close up, starting to ripen. I'm making ink. So I planted some of the peppers in the hopes that they would do something for us. There's one of them. I also planted some empicanale. That's another European herb. This guy, I don't know what it is, but it's very successful. There's another pepper, and I think this is a coneflower. It looks like a coneflower leaf, but it has not produced any flowers. Got goldenrod that should bloom before too long, and I think this is fleabane. We had a volunteer tomato. Look at this guy. Just came up out of the ground, and probably from compost, I guess. There's my gooseberry. And be careful not to step on something important. My gooseberry. See, there's another pepper right here. Another Ella Campane. That's what it's called. Let's see. This is just crazy over here. This is the south edge of the garden. We do have a successful seed planting of asparagus. So hopefully in a few years these guys will sprout big and tall, and well, you eat them before they get big and tall, right? Got a bunch of them in there, a whole seed packet. Looks like a good half of them did. All right, here's one of my older plantings of asparagus. There's another one. It's so pretty and ferny when it shoots up. These little devils eating the heck out of my grapevines. I hate them. Before my surgery, I dumped a bunch of them into a bucket of plain water, and they're all mating now. But I took them down to the creek and threw them in, and the fish just had a glorious time with them. We've got zinnias. Zinnias, there's a red canna, the dark red foliage there. Got a squash, just getting started. But we also have squash bugs, so I'm not optimistic. Squash bugs have destroyed everything I've tried to grow recently. But this guy, look at this, it's flax. Isn't it pretty, the little tiny flowers? And look at this gorgeous guy, my marigolds. I love marigolds so much. I planted marigolds to protect my arugula. The arugula patch has gone to flower. Little tiny flower. There's only a few of them in here. Of course, I'd been harvesting them, so I think that kind of cut back on what was going to grow. Here are my sweet potatoes. They took a long time to start really growing, but I think they're starting to do well now, starting to climb the trellis. More marigolds. Here's my major poke plant, also producing berries. I dumped all of my old berries that were in the freezer into a sieve so that I can turn them into ink, and then these guys I'll use for medicine and more ink. There's a lot. Of course, we end up sharing them with the birds. I don't use poke salad. I don't eat poke salad, but I'm hoping that will change soon. Oh, look, a few blueberries. Blueberries, blueberries. 3 blueberries for me. 3 blueberries for me. Any on this bush? Really got to know where things are in this garden. No, we've just got some dried up berries. We picked several from this shrub, but looks like he's done. And then this guy, look at this. That's my passion flower trellis. I'm going to pick this flower and take it in. Passion flower. I'm just going to eat the blueberries. Passion flower is euphoric. It can end a bout of depression for you. Oops. Okay, got it. Started to pull the vine off of the thing. It'll recover, but I'm so happy with how the vine has taken over. And then my daisies, my oxeye daisies, wild ones that I planted, are doing fairly well. And I've got another wormwood here doing quite nicely. And tansy buttons. And my rosemary is doing okay. It's not great. It does not like this humidity. But the tansy doesn't mind it at all. The tansy is almost as tall as I am. The wormwood is taller than I am. Got a couple more peppers here. And then I planted beans recently. And they're doing okay. Then these are the beans, and they're starting to flower. They're only a couple weeks old, maybe 3 weeks old. And then here's my French lavender, doing okay in spite of the wet instead of the damp. This is what my strawberry patch looks like this time of year. Not happy. Leaves all curled up. And then, yeah, see, this is what happens when squash bugs get hold of your squash plant. Pretty sure that they've gotten hold of that guy. But this one's doing all right. And this one is also coneflowers that I meant to pull out last year. They've got a virus that makes them a little bit squirrely, but they're still kind of pretty. So, and we've got another patch. Gosh, it's so weedy in here. I got one cucumber off of this vine today. And yes, we've got mullein growing again. We've got a huge patch of it over behind the house. And then we've got new baby bean plants coming up. About a dozen of them there. So here is my riot of a garden again. At least it's green, right? It's doing good. It's doing a lot of good. Oh, I should get some of that yarrow. All right. I hope that you are well and that you've accomplished something that makes you proud of yourself. I don't know that I've accomplished much here. It's gone wild. The watermelon vine is not doing anything. I don't know if it's just not accustomed to the south. My rhubarb, I did not get to, yeah, I thought I was done and then I'm not. My rhubarb, I did not get to harvest any rhubarb this year. I just let it grow. I think it's getting choked by the other plants around it, so it's not getting enough sunlight. It's up close to the house, so it doesn't get too much sun. I cut this grapevine back, this wild grapevine back earlier this year. I cut it down to nothing. Look how far back it's come so far this year, but man, these leaves, they're tasty. I'm gonna eat one right now. All right. Thanks for joining me. I hope y'all are doing good. All right. We'll see you next time.